Welcome back to Celebrity Radio. It's Alex Belfield talking to some of the world's biggest stars, some of the most talented people and some of my favourite people as well. Paul Potts is definitely one of them. Hello, Paul. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Hey, I'm really good, thank you. Since we last spoke, you've had a movie made about you. You've got a brand new album out. Your life isn't so bad, is it?
I can't have any complaints.
I mean, who knew when you went for that audition to be on a reality TV show where you could have been laughed off, you became an international star and one of the biggest comedians in Britain later played you in a movie? It's extraordinary, isn't it?
It is kind of bizarre. When I flipped that coin in 2007, I didn't dream it would lead where it has. And if I'm honest, if I'd have known, I probably wouldn't have done it.
Is that true?
Well, yeah, because I don't know what I was risking, and I've never been much of a risk taker. And when I flipped the coin, I didn't think I was taking a risk because I didn't think it was going to lead anywhere.
And there you were, just auditioning randomly as everybody else did. Suddenly America pick up on it, and then it goes gangbusters.
It was kind of nuts, but I mean, I'm hugely privileged and honoured that I get to do what I love to do, and that for me, it doesn't matter what sphere people do it in, whatever they do as their career. So if they've got a career doing what they love doing, then that for me is the ultimate definition of what success is.
Do you wonder why I mean, there are many people around the world who can sing as well as you do, but have no fame whatsoever. Do you still pinch yourself as to the fact that there was a certain alchemy, that you were in the right place at the right time and it caught on?
I do feel very fortunate that I've managed to be in a certain position and seem to connect. And that's the thing about music, is that it's not all about technical ability. It's not all about just singing the right notes. There's a lot more to music than that, and much of it we would never know why things connect in the way they do. I think if you could bottle that, then it would be more valuable than saffron. It's massive for me to be still doing it, and it's something that I never even dreamed would ever happen.
And then we look at you standing on a stage as big as it was, in front of millions of people on TV. Has that become normal yet? Have you managed to overcome the nerves and the anxiety to make that comfortable?
I still get nervous. Those don't go away. My way of dealing with it is to be as last minute as possible, being ready. It winds my wife up a treat, but I'll generally get ready as late as possible, so I don't have time to think about it, because it still makes me nervous, and that's never gone away. And the thing is, if you don't have the nerves anymore, then there is the risk that it doesn't mean anything to you anymore. It's become a day in day out thing, and it's a very special opportunity that I've been given, and so it would be like I didn't value it. I mean, when I was working for the mobile phone shop, I wasn't particularly nervous before I left for the day. I'd do my best, and I was a reasonably good salesman, but it didn't mean so much to me that I felt nervous before I started the day.
Do you still speak to any of those people from the phone shop?
Yeah. We meet up from time to time. It's just a matter of trying to, because I'm away a lot. It's just a matter of trying to make it happen when they're not away on holiday. It's just a matter of dealing with the logistics of it all.
It's incredible, isn't it, when somebody goes from just being the guy in the office to being an international megastar. Have they found it normal yet? Do they treat you the same?
No, they treat me exactly the same. I wouldn't want them to be any different. It's at the end of the day, I'm just me. I mean, I've had a good run of good fortune, but at the end of the day, I'm still me, and to my wife, I'm still the same pain in the ass I've always been.
Did you become more of a pain in the ass when everybody was literally kissing it and telling you were the best? Did you ever let the ego get the better of you?
Well, my wife would just say that I've always been the same pain in the ass anyway, so you're asking the wrong person there, I think.
Do you get involved in the showbiz side of it? I mean, do you take advantage of the free tickets here, the free upgrades there, the free hotel rooms here, the free dinners there?
No, No, I'm not really much of a party person anyway, so it's not really, that's not really my scene. I do remember somebody commenting on a social network expert was commenting on Twitter once that they had to spend the night sat in the same table as me and put Z-list celeb on the end of it, and they hadn't spent any time on the table with me, and I just replied to them, so well, actually, I don't care what list I'm on, I don't go to them.
Yeah.
It's not me. That's not my thing. I get to do what I love doing, and that's fantastic. But I've never been the kind of person that really wants to be seen at things. It's not really. I never feel comfortable.
You come across with great empathy, and you seem to be a sensitive man. Are you hurt by criticism? If I were to say I didn't like this album, which isn't the case, by the way, but if I was to say I didn't like something, would it bother you, or can you just shrug it off?
I think I'd probably act like I shrugged it off, but inside me, it would bother me a bit.
Mm. And when all the papers were writing personal stuff about your weight or your face or your teeth, did it get to you, or did you just think, well, actually, I've won the war because I won the competition, I've got the girl, and I'm living the life of Riley?
Well, you just have to try and allow it to wash over you. It's not always easy, but you do have to... in the end, you do have to just let it wash over you. It's because, you know, none of it's actually intended to be personal. That's just journalism, and that's the way it works sometimes. And
it's a shame, though, isn't it, that people need to talk about you personally more than what you're actually doing, which is singing. That's what you're there to do.
It is what it is at the end of the day, I think. But, you know, I'm just really happy that I get to do what I love doing, and I've been able to keep doing that over the last 7 years, and you know, really looking forward to touring again. But I haven't stopped really. I've done something like 600 shows in the last 7 years, and so it's going to be great to tour the UK again later in the year. Before that, I'm in Korea twice, and in Japan as well, performing with big orchestras. So it's great that the show and the great British public did get behind me and gave me the opportunity that I could never have dreamed of.
When somebody like Oprah says, could you come on my show and sing for me, do you pinch yourself? Do you say, no, she must have got the wrong number, or do you just take the compliment and go and do it?
I always pinch myself. I do that every day.
It's an extraordinary life that you've had over the last few years. This new album is out shortly. It's called Home, and it's lovely. I'm Yours is the first track that I heard on the album, which again lets you shine. It's not about the overproduced classical sound that some artists right now have got. You really do let the voice speak for itself. That's important too, isn't it? That the words, the pronunciation, the delivery is key to your performance.
Well, with this album, I wanted to challenge the artificial boundaries in music, because to me they are artificial. There's this unwritten law that somebody that likes heavy metal can't like opera. Well, that's of course nonsense. You can like whatever you want to like. Nobody owns music. Everybody owns it. It's not owned by anybody. It's owned by everybody, and you can listen and sing what you want to do. And so I wanted this album to challenge those boundaries. So you've got really classic operatic masterpieces like Un amore così grande and Non ti scordare di me, both wonderful De Curtis and pieces, and you know, wonderful, very strong pieces of music. But you've also got November Rain, Home, the Foo Fighters song, and some decent classical songs that are just really relaxing to listen to. So I really wanted this to cross so many boundaries.
Yeah, and it certainly has. Your voice has never sounded stronger and better. Do you worry when you wake up in the morning whether you're going to sound like Paul Potts?
I keep working on it. I'm working with a really good teacher at the moment, and I think I'm making progress. And I never want to get to the point where I'm only as good as I'm only ever going to be. It's like climbing the mountain. You know, part of you doesn't want to reach the top because it's downhill all the way afterwards.
Right. And you love to learn. I mean, you love to keep working on your craft and making it stronger and better.
Yeah, I've always been someone that's always been. I'm quite a harsh critic on myself. So, and you do need that to challenge yourself. But I keep working on things and trying to make myself as technically as good as possible, because that's good for the longevity of my voice. So it's and also you've got to keep striving to improve.
Forgive me for this question, it's slightly impertinent, but as a thick guy from the north with an accent, how do you make singing in Italian, for example, sound great instead of silly? Because it could become parodied, couldn't it? How do you make sure that what you're saying is as it should be, and that the enunciation's in the right way, the pronunciation is correct, and that you're delivering it as it should be, as it was written?
Well, I do speak Italian reasonably well. I spent some time in Italy learning, so I do speak Italian reasonably well. It's not perfect, but I do understand what I'm singing, which is quite important, because you can do it phonetically,
right?
But when you sing just phonetically, I think that you're not really understanding what you're singing. So it's difficult to put the appropriate feeling into things. And with languages for this album and for my previous album as well, I went by how the song spoke to me. So When We Dance is in Italian, because it's a very Latin themed song, and I think it works really well in Italian. But songs like Desperado and November Rain, if you did those in Italian, I don't think they'd sound right. And also, you've got to be so careful with iconic songs, because if they're, it's dangerous to play with them. You have to give them your own spin, but you also have to keep faith with the original.
Yeah, there's a respect, isn't there, with what you do, and you do it beautifully. You've had a movie made about you. Firstly, I presume you saw the film, did you?
I've seen it probably in 11 or 12 different premieres in cinema.
What goes through your head when you're watching 2.5 hours about yourself?
Well, it's really quite strange when James opens his mouth and it's my voice coming out. I watched it in Germany, and of course in Germany they dub the dialogue in German. I think both he and Alexander Rachel have found it quite strange to find that their voices not actually in the film.
Incredible.
Because in Germany, Switzerland, and Austria, and in Italy as well, they dubbed the film into its original into their home languages.
Wow! So somebody's doing an impression of Cord and doing an impression of you. That's interesting.
But the advantage for me is that it's actually my voice still on the singing.
Right. Yeah. You're the only one who made the cut. That's brilliant. You can pre-order Paul Potts' brand new album now. It's called Home. It really is lovely, and you are a true talent. And what a story, what a career. You're back on tour. You can find out more going to his website. Just put in Paul Potts Tour, and you can find out whether he's coming to a theatre near you. Paul, always lovely to talk to you. Come on again, won't you?